Hi, and welcome to the 2019 Paper 2, Question 7 from the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level. If you want a copy of the set of notes, just send me an email at shanetroy@gmail.com and I'll send you on the different sets. That email address should be in the description below. I'd suggest just going through this question now. There's a lot of information. It's a fairly long question, for 50 marks. A lot of information here in the table, so it's basically a statistics question. It says table A below shows the price index for 13 countries in 4 food categories for the year 2015. I'm just saying they've taken that from the CSO, the Central Statistics Office. It shows, for example, that if you paid €132 for meat in Austria, the same quantity of similar meat would cost you 117 in Germany, 106 in Ireland, 63 in Lithuania, etc., etc. Description is the same for other food categories, so they'd be fish, milk, cheese, eggs, fruit, veg, and potatoes. Okay, so there's a lot of data there and a lot of complexity, but the situation hopefully won't be too bad. So part A then says complete table B below to show the maximum value, the minimum value, and the range, so the difference between them, of the data for the 4 food categories. And they've done it for meat. So let's see if it follows. Is 254 the maximum value? The biggest value? Looks like it is. Okay. Is 54 the minimum? 63, 56, 54. It looks like 54 is the minimum. The difference between them, 254 minus 54 gives you the 200. Okay, so we should have a fairly good chance of knowing what to do. Okay, so I'm going to flick to the next page. So 177 is the highest for fish. Let me just check along. Now, if you do make an error, okay, I think if I remember marking this, if you got like 1 or 2 wrong, you still could do really well, okay? As long as your answer was consistent. So let's say, for example, you picked 170. What's the next biggest one? Actually, let's say it was 125. I think that's the second biggest one here. And actually, here. And you just in error. As long as you took them away correctly and you get the correct answer for that actual subtraction, you didn't lose too many marks. And the result, the answer, if you need to use that in the future, will be accepted as correct. So, these kind of questions can make errors. It's still worth pointing out and being careful, okay, like rechecking your answer. But there's a lot of I won't say complexity, but finickiness, for lack of a better word. So 177 is the biggest, 59 is the smallest, 118 is the difference between them. You can check through the other two, okay? I've taken this from the marking scheme, so it's fairly legit. And they end up with the last 2 answers. That was part A. And part B says write the data for the fruit, veg, and potatoes, category in increasing order, and hence find the median. So it's this section here. Okay, it's supposed to be an arrow. Just basically be very careful. Smallest. Now, in one sense, once you go through, you can put a tick along each one. Okay, 48, then you're looking along going, 62 is next. So I have it done here. And by the end, you should have everything accounted for. There should be how many pieces of data? There should be 13 pieces of data. Okay, and then the median is just the middle value. Okay, now there is an odd numbered list. There is a definite median. That's 111. Okay, right, that's it. So part C then is find the mean of the meat data in the meat category. So all of this data. So basically, it's not a frequency table. It's just an ungrouped data table. So I'm going to add all them together and divide it by the number of data points, which is, we said, 13. Okay. So I'm adding them all together, dividing by 13, put it to the calculator, okay, and get my answer. Now, in a question like this, is worth pointing out, sometimes people write down just the answer. And that's great if you're correct. But if you make a small error, like you put in 175 here instead of 157, and you're doing that in the calculator using the calculator itself to do it, then your answer is going to be wrong. Okay. Whereas if you show the calculation and then even use the calculator, okay, if your answer is wrong, if this is correct, okay, and the answer is wrong, you still will get what was the 9 marks depends on the market scheme in any one year, but you'll do really, really well because the assumption is that you made just an error using the calculator or a small addition error. If we don't see the work here of setting up the formula and all we see is wrong answer, no work shown, we assume you just don't know what to do. Okay, so you just guessed it. So you get 0. Okay, so it is worth showing the marks, okay, even if you are using the calculator. Anyway, that's C part 1. Actually, just to find out, that was 15 marks, which for finding the mean of something, probably the easiest marks you'll get. It gets harder now. Part 2 here is only worth 5 marks. Now it became hit or miss. So if you're wrong, you're wrong. Okay. If you didn't round it right, you're wrong. You get 0 marks. I hate it because there's so much work involved here. You could do this using the formula and working it out, but there's no space. You have to use the back. And I'd say out of the 500 scripts I marked, 1 student tried to do that. Okay. The rest just didn't attempt it or made up an answer. And a certain percentage, a small percentage, actually got it right. So the only real effective way to do this, okay, and it is for the meat category, is to use the calculator. So I'm going to bring up my calculator. The answer I just practiced it before because we have the calculator, it leaves the desk bar here. So on this version of the Casio, okay, the method is actually the same as the regular Casio. Not so sure for the Sharp, okay, if anybody has them or other brands. Sure, pretty similar. So I would set to do that. I just press mode. Okay, it's on the top function. And press 3 just to make sure. Okay, then you press 1 for the variance. So that gives you a chance to input your data. But if I put it in and try to be quick because so 122 press the enter button. Okay, 117 press the enter button. 106. Here how easy it can be to make an error. Okay, 56, 111, 157. 4, 85, 131, 254, bear with me, 78, and 112. Okay, so it won't activate unless I put equal. If I press the AC button, the clear button, it'll disappear, but it stores that table in the memory of the computer. Now I want to come along, okay, and I'm going to activate the stats uh, mode as such, the stats uh, shift, this is on the second function, 1, okay, there's the variance I want in this case, okay, 4, and then it's the standard deviation is 3 here. I was doing the mean of each 2. So that's 3. Then press equal to do the calculation. I got 50.98. Okay, round up to the nearest whole number. That's 50. Okay, so we're practicing those things. Okay, it's a handy way of doing the mean. Okay, although adding in the previous example there, adding 132 plus 117 and then just dividing them by 13 isn't the end of the world either. Okay. Now the part 3 here says list all the countries in the meat category that are not within 1 standard deviation of the mean. So you're looking at the mean of the meat category was 112 or whatever you had calculated. Okay, so that would be accepted as fully correct. So even if you did the wrong answer by using the calculator, then that value will be accepted. So it changes the answer depending on that. It's an awkward thing to mark. But if you're plus 1 standard deviation, okay, you're looking at the countries that are within now 112 and 51 is 163. So between 163 and 112 take 51 is and 61. So what countries are between those two numbers? Okay. Now, sorry, is it outside? Or sorry, are not within. Are outside those numbers. Okay, so that's within, that's within, that's within. Okay, that's within, that's without, that's within, that's without, isn't it? Without, within, without, within. So those three countries are outside that range of 163, take away between 163 and 61. And I wrote them down. They're Macedonia, Poland, and Switzerland. That's it. Now, again, you have to understand your standard deviation, okay? And you look if you recall the notes, but you're looking at the standard distribution. Okay, we're assuming this is following that standard distribution, and your mean is down the middle. Okay, and you're looking at the number of countries within like one deviation of that. Okay, would be, and then you have two standard deviations, three standard deviations. So if you have your mean and you take your standard deviation away, you're within this amount of people for this particular set of data. And yeah, that's it. Okay, part D here, I don't like part D. This was not well answered. But a customer in Ireland buys some meat, fish, milk, cheese, eggs, fruit, and veg, and potatoes as detailed in Table C. So they basically buy everything. A customer in Poland buys the same amounts in the same quantities. And that's the trick here. Complete Table C. So they give you how much they buy in Ireland of all those different things and the total amount they spent. So this, if you think, and the trick here, I suppose, is to go back and go, well, how much did they have cost in Ireland? Okay, so if I go back and show, actually go back to this page and do it. For meat, Ireland was 106. So they got the fraction of 36.04 over 106. So that's the amount of the meat that the person bought in Ireland. Okay, now that fraction represents a part of the whole. It's not, the top number is smaller than the top bottom number. So it's like, I'm going to guesstimate it's like a third. Okay. If you can multiply that by the Polish number, okay, to get the actual, basically the answer here. Okay. If you're multiplying that by the Polish number, if I remember, or I don't remember, it's 54. Okay. Multiplying that by 54, put that through the calculator, you'll get 18.36. So you can do the same thing for all of them, okay? So the fish one is 31.32 divided by the total. Now, if we go back again, just to point this out, the fish that's in Ireland, that's 108. So basically, these three numbers form the denominator for those three categories. And it's 31.32 divided by the 108, multiplied by the 64, which was the amount that was spent in Poland. Same thing for milk, cheese, eggs. Same thing for fruit, veg, potatoes. And you can fill in the table here. And then you're going to finally add all them together, and you get this one here, which is correct. Okay, or 4 marks. Now, a lot of students didn't get these three things right, but they did add them correctly to get this total cost correctly. So that was considered like one correct relevant step. Okay, and they got like the low partial 2, whatever. So they got something from what is a fairly complicated question, in that it's hard to understand what they're asking. So I struggled when I first did the paper to kind of get what they were saying, and then finally just messed around and got that calculation, this one here, and then just repeated it for each category and then just add them all together. But that should be the end of question 7. Okay, so thanks very much and see you on question 8.